Charleston White is an interesting person. Welcome back to the program. We're going to be talking about Charleston White. He was interviewed a little bit over a week ago by Cam Newton and made some interesting comments. He's known for being viral. I came across Charleston when he talked about President Trump. And basically, he stands behind President Trump and a lot of things he did policies wise. I know a lot of people don't like Trump because of his personality, but I'd rather you tell me the truth up front than to smile at my face with a knife behind your back ready to stab me as soon as you get an opportunity. But again, that's for another conversation. Charleston White recently had an issue happen, an altercation happened at one of his events, one of his shows, where he was jumped. And by now, most people know about that, or many people know about that. But he also was interviewed a couple of days ago where he was asked about that event. But what I want to focus on is his comments as to what he learned from that comment. So, a couple of things we're going to address. One is his comments about Deion on Cam's show. Then his comments about Deion or Coach Prime in his most recent interview since the Cam Newton one, and also his altercations. All right, so let's go and get into it.
Your beliefs, using your platform to tear down a person who's bringing notoriety to something that wasn't there.
Well, they using their platform to tear down the black school by not giving them the light. Because the black school had, this is what I'm saying, black people for the last 2 years when he was at Jackson State, y'all was HBCU hashtagging. I'm talking about you couldn't get on the internet and not see HBCU hashtag. What happened, y'all? Y'all cooning now. With the white man with Colorado University. Y'all cooning now. What happened to the HBCU hashtags? That's all I'm saying. What happened? I'm still HBCU hashtagging while I'm cooning.
Yes, sir.
And I'm still showing up at the HBCU, buying HBCU girl, and rocking it on the major platform. I don't see nobody HBCUing it like me. So who cooning?
So I'm going to tell you this. You just sit up there and told me that you made $40,000 in 2 days. Mm-hmm. And you also just told me that if you had an opportunity to make $400,000, you would take that. So the fact that Deion said, hold on,
let me just say, I turned down a $5 million deal with Aiden Ross and Kick to take a $500,000 deal with. I turned down a $5 million deal with Aiden Ross and Kick to come over here to sign a $500,000 deal with niggas so I can stay with my people. Mm. Yeah, they say I'm dumb and stupid. Yeah, I turned down $5 million so I can go sign $500,000. So I can stay with these niggas. I ain't want to sell out and go beat up them white folks. Take all my star power over there with Kick and Aiden Ross with them Jews. I wasn't fit to do that, man. I stayed with the Culture TV. Don't even know if they give me the whole $500,000. But nigga, I stayed with my people. My spirit wouldn't let me do it. So I don't give a what Deion, that Deion talk. I sacrificed for it.
I get it, but I disagree with what he was talking about in terms of selling out, or the term selling out for his people. I get it. Black folks do need to stick together, but it has to be under the right situations and circumstances, because if you are honest with yourself, we all know, or many people know, I won't say in every black community, but we don't really stand up and look out for each other like we should, which is why if you're going to do your research in Chicago, Baltimore, Detroit, and all those different places where there's predominantly a lot of black populations in those areas, it's not all that good. It's not healthy. Some people, they probably have Charleston's mentality, just I'm going to stay there or stay with my people in that regard, but we ain't looking out for each other. Matter of fact, you're considered a snitch or rat, or whatever term people like to use, if you tell the truth on why murders or shootings are going on in your neighborhood. So you rather deal with, a number of people, would rather deal with that than to help the community out to be safer for their children, for their grandchildren, for their sisters, their brothers, or whatever. So, but that's another conversation on a longer level, on another conversation at another time. But I find it very interesting what he said, because a little over a week later, after he has an unfortunate encounter in one sense, incident occur, then He changes his tune.
I have to ask you, what did you yourself learn from this whole scenario? It was a long car ride home, or not long. Let's just say you got back to Dallas Fort Worth safely unscathed. You had time to think about it, a day or two. What did you personally learn from this scenario as far as what to do going forward, how to handle hecklers, how to, what did you learn to move forward in this scenario?
That black people will wipe each other out.
Saying so.
Before we die out. So we're not gonna die off. We're gonna kill each other off. So that's what I learned. Number one.
Before he goes to number two, the second thing that he learned. Did you hear what he just said? Let's play that back one more time.
Proceeding toward me. So I'm gonna attack. You don't let no arms this and no armory, you attack, homie.
Come on now. I have to ask you, what did you yourself learn from this whole scenario? It was a long car ride home, or not long. Let's just say you got back to Dallas Fort Worth safely unscathed. You had time to think about it, a day or two. What did you personally learn from this scenario as far as what to do going forward, how to handle hecklers, how to, what did you learn to move forward in this scenario?
That black people will wipe each other out.
Saying so.
Before we die out. So we're not gonna die off. We're gonna kill each other off. So that's what I learned. Number one.
That's a very scary but truthful statement or comment. And I don't know about y'all, but listen, let me say this right quick. I'm not just talking to a black audience, okay? I'm talking to people. Some of us have mixed family members, mixed, friends. This is about people, y'all. We've been taught to divide and conquer. A lot of us have been taught, or some of us have been taught to hate somebody just because we look different. That's not real life, y'all. That's the life someone pulled over our eyes and taught us that's what it's supposed to be about. No. We were put on this planet, is my conviction, that we were put on this planet not to compete against each other, but to complement one another. To bring our distinct, the things that make us, that distinguishes us, or the things that makes us different from one another. We were brought together. We were supposed to bring that together to actually complement and show us, each of us, something different. Give us different experiences, something we wouldn't have experienced just with our own culture. Somebody taught us to hate. Somebody taught their children, their grandchildren, and so on, to hate someone just because they're different. But it's even worse when you hate your own kind. Because now, in this scenario, the enemy is not only on the outside, it's on the inside. We talk about black people coming together. We talk about how we should support each other. But how can you support somebody who don't have your best interest at heart? You don't know them just because they're your own, they look like you or the same complexion as you. That makes y'all best friends and buddies, family. That's not been true in my experience. That don't mean I hate my kind, if using that term for this conversation. First of all, I'm a Christian first. I am a child of God. I am a citizen of heaven. That's number one. For me, you choose I pledge my allegiance to King Jesus. That's where it starts for me. That's how I was raised. And as I got older, I stayed with that decision. I have no regrets about that. Secondly, when people who look like me have been oppressed, attacked unjustly, and things like that, then yes, that bothers me as well. And so I have to stand for what is right. And that's what I believe I'm doing. That's what I'm going to continue to do, whether it's popular or not. What Charleston just said should alarm us. That should be one of the most important topics that is brought up. Because I know I brought that up a few years ago when the George Floyd situation was going on. And I remember being at work one day and I was talking to a coworker. This is a little bit after the George Floyd situation. And I noticed this particular news program was on. And they was talking about a murder and some shootings that was going on in Chicago. And I noticed something. They didn't mention the skin color. Yeah. I saw that. I pay attention to those little but big details. See, when the media wants to share something, they want to push a certain agenda or narrative. A negative one, let me be more specific, because everybody has an agenda. Everybody has a narrative. The question is it good or is it bad? Is it beneficial to the audience at large or to whoever their target audience is, or is it really detrimental? And so I said, man. So I pulled a coworker over and I said, hey, check this out. On the headline, it was I think it was a 10-year-old girl who was killed. She was one of 14 that was shot. She ended up losing her life, 10 years old. And you know the way instantly, besides reading the headline, noticing that the skin color wasn't mentioned, but the other way I knew what color she was? That's because they put up a picture. Because they want to, the media is big on driving narratives. And so you want people to feel empathy. People love drama and suspense. Guess what? They show her picture to show how cute she was. Well, she was a cute little girl and everything, but she lost her life. She was black. But not predominantly, as far as we know, in certain parts of Chicago, it's not just that city, but in Chicago, this type of activity happens on a regular. Every weekend, black people being shot. No media coverage, or at least no national media coverage. Police weren't involved. A white person wasn't involved. And so they don't play on your emotions with that. They don't play on that narrative because they know they don't have it. And so they just won't report it. So anyway, I understand what Charleston is saying here. Because I brought this up. I said, it seems okay for black people to destroy each other. It seems okay for us to be prejudiced against one another, but anybody else do it? Oh, no. That's our job, to destroy each other. Nobody else on the outside can do it. Only us. That's the way it seemed to me. And I brought that up over 2 years ago. What Charleston said right there was real. Let's go and listen to the rest of it.
The second thing I learned is I need to do what Deion Sanders did. So that's why you see me back in dealings with Aiden Ross and Kick. I learned that it's best to sell out, that you can't save black people. I learned that I owe Deion Sanders an apology. Best thing he ever did was leave Jackson State and go to Colorado and run to the arms of them white people so his kids can be safe, his property can be protected, and he can get the money that he so deserves for being a black coach coaching for white people. The money that he deserves for being their coach. Because they'll never give him what he deserves. But he do deserve something for working for them. So I learned that I don't want to be down. I don't want to be down. I think it's almost wise and smart if you're a black person to sell out. Yeah, that's what I learned, homie. But when I come back home and look at everything, I say, you know what? Had I took that deal with them white folks, none of that would happen. Because the white people would have made sure I was protected there.
That is facts.
The white people would have made sure that the reputation of the event would have stayed intact.
That is facts.
So I'm letting white people know I'm ready to sell out.
You're gonna upset some people saying.
If y'all want me, if y'all get a dress, get it small.
No.
Of course, I don't agree with that, but he does have another point. He says, I apologize to Deion Sanders because, as y'all heard in the first clip, he was talking about Deion being a sellout. He wanted to stay among his people. He took 10 times less that he really could have had. $5 million, $500,000. Some of the people he say he sacrificed for, most of them probably wouldn't have done that. Okay? Now, listen, to each his own. In that regard, to each his own. But the black community, and this is for any community, but especially in this, again, for this conversation, I have no problem saying it. I just have been raised to be on the right side of things. Even if I disagree with the truth, I must, initially, my goal was only to be on the side of truth. I will not be biased against truth under no circumstances. Truth is truth, whether it's comfortable, whether it's popular, whether it's convenient or not. Truth is truth, and that's what Darius stands. So you do what you want to do, but that's the only side I will live on. It's the side of truth. And what he said here is, when Coach Prime was at Jackson, he wasn't getting the support. I mean, you can listen to Coach if you've heard. I've heard some of his sound bites on that. He's talking about some of that, but he wasn't getting the type of support. Didn't have the kind of resources he needed or wanted or asked for in order to help advance those projects or those schools, the system, the way he wanted to. And I know he's taking a lot of flack for that, for leaving and all that kind of stuff. Again, teach his own. I've learned people are not really interested in truth. They're only interested in their truth. So if their truth is wrong, they're still going to stay with it. If their friends are for it, they're going to stay with it. So, and not everybody who wants the truth, hey, that's your business. But Charleston was just letting us know that this experience he had, because again, in this clip here, again, I didn't show that part. So if you want to, I'll drop a link, drop the link for you to check out the entire video, but it's less than an hour long. What he was pointing out was that our own community doesn't really support us like they make it seem out to be. And I agree with him. I agree with him that black folks would quickly take each other out before any other race does so, before any cop does so. I think the trouble oftentimes is more on the inside than it is on the outside. Let me know what you think in the comments. Appreciate you. Remember to hit that subscribe button as well.